Welcome back to the Football Chuggu Podcast. My name is Pearse McLaughlin. I'm your host today, and I'm joined by my co-host today, Thomas McLaughlin. How you doing, Thomas?
Good, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. So we got a pretty decent one today in terms of the podcast. We've got Scottish Premiership results. We've got the start of the English Premier League, and we've got obviously European playoffs as well. The first legs have happened, and the second legs are this week. So very exciting times for all the Scottish sides in Europe. And we'll round it off with a bit of Asian football news. And for the first time in the podcast, Thomas will give us a rundown of the latest football news in Asia around Vietnam, because that's where obviously he's situated at the moment, and that's where
Yep.
he lives. So that'll be the first in the podcast. So expanding not just in Japan and South Korea and Scotland and England and sometimes European football. We're now giving you even more of Asian football. So this is what this podcast is. It celebrates Asian football and European football. So yeah, so it's the first of the podcast. Hopefully you enjoy the content. And without getting into too much detail, let's just start. So we start off with the Scottish Premiership. There was only one game because obviously the other five Scottish teams postponed their fixtures because obviously they've got
Yeah.
massive European playoffs. And I can see why they've done that because they want to give themselves every opportunity to qualify. And the money that would bring Scotland and the coefficient is unbelievable for the Scottish game because if for example Celtic, Hearts, Rangers, Hibs, Motherwell all qualify, not just the teams get the money, but
League.
a little bit of the money goes down the Scottish football pyramid, even to League Two. So that sort of money, even for Scottish football, is massive and helps
Mm.
the smaller clubs stay afloat, which I think is fantastic. So I think, but with one match, and it was a brilliant match. It was a fantastic match, and it's a team I'm wearing right here. Not biased at all. It was the Dundee derby between Dundee and Dundee United, and it was at Tannadice on Sunday, the 23rd of August, and with Dundee winning the game 2-0. Tommy, did you watch the game?
Yeah, I thought Dundee United did very well against Dundee. I thought it was an end-to-end game, and as you know, like all derbies, they care about winning. They don't want to lose, so that's what makes it more entertaining rather than playing like a small team. Nils, you said that the other games were postponed, and this one wasn't. So everybody would in Scotland probably would have been watching that game, to be honest, because it's a big game. You know what I mean? Two from the same city. You know what I mean?
Aye,
So I think
the stadiums are literally across the road from each other. It's the closest
did you
derby.
watch it? You said.
I never watched it live. I was uh, busy doing other things with my wife and
Hmm.
teaching and stuff like that. But no, I did catch highlights, extended highlights, and I thought, although you said both it was entertaining end to end, I thought Dundee were the better team
Mm.
by a country mile. I thought they created the more chances. They looked more. I thought the goalkeeper for Dundee United kept Dundee United in the game, kept the scoreline down because I thought Dundee at times peppered them. And
Mm.
I don't know if you've seen the first goal, Dre Wright. He picks up a loose ball, sloppy loose ball in the middle of the park, drives from the right back position, just runs in a straight line, and then just unleashes a rocket into the side netting. And you're just thinking that epitomises Dundee. They're very organised, and once they get the ball, they go forward as fast as they can. And it was a wonder goal. And then the second goal was just sloppy defending from a set piece.
Mm.
Second phase, the ball is bouncing. It comes to Alan Forrest, who lashes a shot, and then the Dundee players on the ground and just flicks a healer at it and it goes in. It's 2-0.
Mm.
But like I say, I thought Dundee United were poor. I thought they're poor. I've been pretty impressed with United this season. Even though the, the last two games I've been unimpressed with them because obviously they've been back at heavy defeats, but
Yeah, of course.
losing
Yeah.
derby. But there's signs that they're a decent football club, Dundee United. But Dundee are off to a flyer this season. I mean, they're sitting second in the league. I know they've played their game more, but to have 6 points after 3 games and you get a new deal this season at the start of the season as well. Stephen Presley, I think we talked on last week's podcast as well. I think Dundee are just exciting to watch, and this is a team that loses their best players, of a couple of their best players every year because obviously
Aye.
that's the way smaller clubs operate. but they're a massive club in Scotland. But in terms of finances, they're small compared to other clubs. Like they lost, like for example, Luke McCowan. They've lost Lyle Cameron, and they lost the goalkeeper McCracken down to England as well. They've lost uh, Clarkson, Clark Robertson. He went away to India, and they lost Luke Graham as well, £2 million as well, massive fee. So they've lost like over the last year or two, they've lost quite a lot of big players. And obviously the captain Simon Murray's injured now as well, so he got a bad injury recently. So and he just finds these hidden gems, and obviously getting people to come to Dundee isn't the easiest thing. But I think the way he's got the players playing from they run through a brick wall for him, and they're exciting to watch. So for me,
That's what you need sometimes.
like, I think Steve Price did a fantastic job, and yeah, I think Dundee will have a good season this year.
I think Stephen Presley, if he keeps up his good work, man, he could probably be in line to a bigger job. You know what I mean?
Maybe the Scotland job in the future.
That's what I was thinking. Scotland, you suit it. If he keeps up playing that nice football, I don't see why not. You know what I mean? Because I'm not too sure about the Postecoglou guy.
Well, Paul Cognoli.
Postecoglou,
Cogley, So, obviously, we touched on it briefly there. So, there's only one game. So, the other 5 games,
Yeah.
well, the other 5 teams played in Europe mid last week. So, I'll tell you the first leg results. So, Celtic 3, Lask 0, Ghent 0, Hibs 0, Motherwell 1, Freiburg 3, Hearts 2, Rapid Vienna 2, Rangers 1, Jablonec 0. So the second legs kick off starting with the first game on Wednesday, the 26th of August. Lask 0 versus Celtic 3. That's Lask is at home in the second leg. They're 3-0 down, and that's set for 4 a.m. kickoff South Korean time. So it'll be 2 a.m. for you, Tommy. So we'll start with it in alphabetical order in terms of the running order of the games this week. So Celtic versus Lask in Austria. Also, give you a brief summary of the first leg and how you think the second leg's going to pan out.
Well, I think in the first leg, man, I was that Duran man, and Duran by he was so agile. He was so smart to get into the right positions for the thing was for the first goal. The ball crossed in by Tierney, and then the header came. I think it was who it was going to? It was James Forrest or something. He did start with it. Aye.
Casper who?
Casper, and then it bounced out. And he just didn't wait for it. He moved towards it. His body moved towards the ball and volleyed it, and the goalkeeper had no chance. And the second goal was even better. I think Duran, like he's had fantastic games at Celtic, like so far, and he's had to adapt his position as well because before Casper Who came in pre-season, he was showing that he could provide and put goals in the net. Like 1 goal a game he had in the first 2 pre-season matches, and they weren't great goals, but it was like getting in front of the defender. The good defender takes a heavy touch, he gets the ball, and then sometimes the goalkeeper makes a straight pass, he gets the ball. He's rapid, and I thought the other players played well as well, and I think that was the last European game for Arnie Engels for Celtic.
No, he never played.
Didn't play? Oh.
He was away.
I think for the next leg, it's going to be difficult. They'll make it difficult for Celtic. I think like we needed to get at least 3 goals because they're going to make it very difficult for us in that home ground for them. Because we got the home advantage in the first leg, so they're going to try and take it to us. They're going to be attacking, so we need to watch out for leaving any gaps. Our midfield needs to be solid, and I do believe like our defense is good, but Trusty needs to stop dribbling out of defense and just like pass it simple because he's no skills. You know what I mean? He's no Liam Skills. Liam Skills can do that because he's got like the dribbling, he's got the skills and that, and he's got a dig on him. He's got a great pass. Trusty, he's like Titanic on the ball. You know what I mean? It's like he sees an iceberg and he's about to go towards it. You know what I mean? I think if we can get a good, solid defense and a good, solid midfield, we'll go through. But if the midfield is lacking, there's a worry that they could score early on, and then that could put the back against Hull for Celtic. You know what I mean? What do you think?
So who's going through?
I think Celtic definitely going through. But
what's your score prediction?
I really don't know about the second leg. So in aggregate, I'll probably say they will probably get a goal. So I think we'll get 2. So I'm going to say 5-1 in aggregate to us, hopefully.
Is it Celtic's going to win away in Austria?
I think so. We our attack, and we've got Hassan on the bench as well. Hassan Hussein. I mean,
Not Saddam Hussein, no.
no, he's too explosive.
Okay, moving on. So I'll give you my thoughts on the game. Let's see, I thought the calibre of goals, the 3 goals in the first leg were outstanding. First, Benjamin Nigren, the ball bounces, he hits it flushly, side foot top corner, goalkeeper no chance.
Yep.
Kind of similar area of the pitch. Look, for something last didn't mark the edge of the box, which is criminal.
Yeah.
It's level football, and as you know, European football is very, very fine margins if you go through or not. And then obviously, but the quality strikes are unbelievable. The Duran volley was unbelievable. Just caught it so flush. Not as much in the top corner, but we had more power in it.
Mm.
And then the third one was a breakaway. Started for your man Austin Trusty into Casper, who flicked it in the corner into Nygren. Nygren plays I think it was Duran and Nygren play 1-2 with each other, and then just a first time finesse into the top corner. Cute as a hand tip, but just too powerful and just too good a finish. And like you say, I thought at times obviously Lask were very, very good, but they did have 2 offside goals, so it could, but I thought the big man up front, the American striker, I can't remember his name, baldy guy, the beard man, he looked quite dangerous.
Aye.
But if he could stay on side, he probably did a couple of goals. But like you say, I think they had more kind of shots for distance rather than anything. They didn't really create many 2 clear-cut chances. So I think Celtic's defence was very good. Midfield is decent. And considering this is they're playing, what was it, Colby Donovan right back, who's technically second or third choice right back because the Johnston's now out for a prolonged period of time. And you thought that might be the weakness that they might pinpoint, but I thought he defended very well. Maybe on the ball wasn't the greatest, but off the ball and defensively, I thought he was very good. I thought the new boy, Mika Bauer, looked pretty good. He looks like a regen of Rio Hatate, and obviously Rio Hatate then came off the bench for his first appearance this season. I thought he made a positive impact in the third goal as well. He was heavily involved in the build-up. So I think if Celtic can get him back on song, then they've got a player there because I don't think that Hatate has too many suitors that want to buy him at the moment. So I think the best thing for him in his career that should maybe to stay put and get back to the form, and who knows, maybe he goes away in January or next summer. But like I say, I thought Celtic would. It was an even game, I thought, but I thought Celtic were really clinical. And I think Celtic this season have been very clinical. Something they haven't been last season because they didn't have any good strikers last season. And like I say, I think the firepower that Celtic got this season and the signings they've brought in, they've added real quality. And yeah, I thought Celtic were very strong. I think Celtic will go through. I think Celtic will, I don't know, maybe draw or get beat by our goal in Lask in Austria. I think Celtic will qualify. I think maybe I'm predicting a 2-2 draw. I think there's goals in the game. I think obviously Lask have to come out firing all cylinders and try to put the pressure on Celtic as soon as possible. But I think that maybe plays into Celtic's hands because in the counter attack I think they're very, very dangerous. And I think Celtic could score a couple of goals themselves, especially big Casper Hu or Duran or even Tanecki or whoever, Yang. I thought you've got a lot of option now. You've got Hassan, James Forrest, Benjamin Nigren has now got 4 goals, 4 assists in 4 games, and kid will start the season for him. So yeah, I think Celtic will go through that tie. And then the next tie in chronological order is Thursday, the 27th of August, and that's Rapid Vienna versus Hearts. The first leg finished 2-2 at Tynecastle. And that's set for a 1:45 a.m. kickoff in South Korea time on Thursday. So what's your thoughts on the first leg, Tommy? And what's your thoughts on who's potentially going to go through in that?
I think it's it was a very difficult game for Hearts, and I do think Hearts are at home, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Second leg's away. Second leg's away.
That's what makes it a wee bit more difficult because
Also,
away legs.
also in Austria.
So I think for me, Hearts did very well to put up a fight, but I don't think they're going through. I think they played decent, but they were still lacking in defensive and the wing backs. I do think that they will go out, but it will be a narrow defeat. I think they will get beat 2-1 in Austria. I think they'll narrowly go out. Sad to say because I want the coefficient to go up, but like I don't see them getting a win against them. I don't see it.
No? Okay. Well, I kind of second your opinion. I think Hearts don't have enough defensively. I think Halkett's a big miss.
Mm.
And like you say, I think this manager plays exciting football, but they're conceding far too many goals. They're conceding an average of 2, 3 goals a game, and you can't do that in Europe or domestically. So I think even they played, what was it, the League Cup last weekend? No, sorry, the weekend before, and I think they won 3-2, but they conceded 2 goals to, I think it was Dunfermline. What? No, sorry, Inverness Cali Thistle. So I think you can't be doing that every week. And they're playing Calvin Miller, who was a left winger last season for Falkirk. They're playing a left
Yeah.
back. I know he played left back at Celtic when he first came through, but he was never a left back. He was so attacking, but he was terrible defensively. And that's why when he went to Falkirk, he found his home and he was one of the best wingers last season in the league.
Mm.
Um, so I think it just shows you the attack the tent the manager's got, but that might come unstuck against Austria, the Austrian side, and obviously Rapid Vienna is a massive club in Austria. Um, and let's say, but I've got to touch on the first leg. I don't know if you've seen the James Wilson goal. Oh my God, it was.
Awesome.
It's been described as James McFadden-esque, the one against, remember the one against France,
Yeah.
the one he's just in Paris. He just took a touch, bang, about 45 yards out, just went to the top corner.
Incredible.
Like I say, he just took a touch, goal kick, and it's similar circumstances but the other side, but it just kind of it's more of a laser. Whereas McFadden is more of like an outside of the foot kind of curve, like inside. I mean, it just thrilled out for the goalie. Rocket,
Mm.
unbelievable strike. This is a boy that was on loan at the Tottenham Academy last season, which I thought was really strange. But obviously Shankland did leaving and a few others that he's got his new opportunity to then go and play, stake a claim in that first team. 19 years of age, good young player for Scotland, and I hope the Hearts can do it. But like I say, I think it might be 3-1 Rapid Vienna in the second leg. I think Hearts will just have. I just think defensively they're too weak, and that will be their Achilles heel, I think. So next game, Friday 28th of August, and that's a 1 a.m. kickoff South Korea time, and that's Jablonec versus Rangers. The first leg finished 1-0 at Ibrox. What's your thoughts, Tommy?
So 1-0 Jablonec.
1-0 Rangers, the first leg.
Rangers. It
And
was
also
played in.
Rangers had obviously Cammy Devlin sent off as well for a straight red card.
We'll get to that. Yeah. So I think Rangers. They're very lucky they got away with that result because Jablonec played very well. Just couldn't get a goal. Rangers. I do think that they'll probably underestimate them at their home ground, and I do think they'll probably go to extra time. But I don't know who's going to win. I think it will definitely go extra time. I'm going to say, if I'm going to push myself, I'm going to say Jablonec to win it because I think Rangers they've got good players, but I feel as if they're not actually fantastic players. The players that they bought in this season, I do think they were getting a quantity over quality just to get rotation for all the players getting injured and red carded and that. But Rangers' team is far from any Rangers team before. They're so shit now, or should I say terrible. They're terrible now because their consistency, as you've seen at the start of the season, their pre-seasons, and you've seen that their signings are bringing in. They're not bringing in like quality players. They're bringing in people I don't even know. I mean, and they're not playing well together. And that Cammy Devlin tackle, by the way, that was ridiculously bad. By the way, that was an animal tackle. By the way, that was horrible. Man.
He came under substitutes only for 5 minutes.
Okay, terrible. I never liked him as a player. I thought he was like a wee workhorse, a wee pit bull, but he's reckless. He's too reckless in the tackle, man. At least like when Scott Brown was doing it, he was a bit more justified. But yeah, Cammy Devlin red card, 100% straight red. I do think like Jaminet will win 1-0. I think it'll be a low
If they
scoring
win
game.
1-0, then it'll just extra time of penalties.
That's what I'm saying. I think Jaminet will win the penalties. I think it'll be 1-0 in the normal time, and it'll go straight to penalties.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you. I think Rangers will go through. I think Rangers can't play as bad as they did in the first leg. And like I say, there's so much on the line. And the players have got to perform. There's no doubt about it. And let's say Rangers should not be losing to Jablonec. No disrespect, but the Polish League is not as good as the Scottish League. And Rangers are by far a bigger club in terms of spending power, and the players we've got are just better in my opinion, but they're just not showing the level that they are. Um, let's say I think if Derek McInnes loses this game and Rangers get put out of Europe altogether, no group stage football, I
Mm.
think that would be disastrous. I think fans would be calling for him to get sacked already
Mm.
in the season. Because he's had a poor start to the season, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Both domestic and in Europe. I mean, you get put out in the Europa League. So if you go to the Europa League to then having maybe potentially no European football altogether would be disastrous for a club like Rangers.
yeah,
Because Rangers believe that they should be at least a Europa League team, potentially Champions League team. But to be not even be a Conference League team would be unthinkable. But I think the game, again, I think Rangers might win the game by the odd goal. I don't think there'll be free flowing football because there's no evidence of that this season. But I think players like Shankland and it have to step up. And your boy Yakoda, who's looked pretty lively on the right wing, the Japanese winger. Um, and players like Asgard and maybe Nadiri Miovski. Yeah, but I think Rangers should be going through this tie. I don't think Jablonec were very good in the first leg. I thought Rangers were poor, but also thought Jablonec were very poor. I thought it was a terrible game.
Mm.
But I think Rangers are just the better of the two bad teams at the moment.
yes, better, but like form wise, is not. I'm not too sure because they have got. I said they've got good players, but they're not fantastic. But they just need to gel together to get the job done. But I don't see
Aye.
it happening because it's a short period at a time and they're still playing quite inconsistent.
Aye. Well, the next game on the list is Freiburg versus Motherwell in Germany. That's a 1:45 a.m. kickoff, my time. Um, and the first leg was 3-1 to Freiburg at Fir Park.
Bye bye. That's what it is. That's bye bye Motherwell. I'm sorry. The quality of Freiburg, the players that they've got, and the spending power they've got is far superior to Motherwell. And I do think that they are actually doing like a mid-table team or near the top half of the German Bundesliga, or they used to be at least.
Top
I
half,
mean,
that's how you get in Europe into it.
so I do think Motherwell got a great past of the last league. They started well in the last season. This season they're a wee bit sporadic. They're not showing any like kind of consistency, and they're not showing any like a rhythm of their play. And after Askew, wasn't it? Was it Askew that left?
James
The
better
man,
ask you.
right? They kind of went downhill after that because the last couple of games with him, he was not really focused and he wasn't doing the same type of football he was with the team. And then he left, and then he left the team with no leader. So I do think like it's going to be a high scoring game, and I think it'll be 3-0. 3-0 Freiburg.
Aye.
Mm.
Well, I think the new manager at Motherwell was actually a pretty decent manager, Icelandic manager. Let's say I thought the level of Freiburg and Motherwell was like it's a completely different ballgame. But the fact is that
Mm.
Motherwell have managed to navigate two rounds prior to this in terms of
Yeah.
um, European qualification. So I think that their journey's been outstanding to get to
Mm.
the playoffs.
Yeah.
And like you said, they lost a lot of big players this summer. They lost Elijah just for £6 million to
Mhm.
Swansea. They lost Elliot Watt, who was their best midfielder, to
Mm.
a team in Turkey. So what you say, they lost Stephen Welsh, who was their best defender last season on loan from Celtic, has went to Swansea as well from Celtic. So like you say, they've lost key players in key positions, and they lost the manager who played a style of football. But I think what I've seen them this year, I've been pretty impressed by them. I think there's a style of football. I think they've been pretty good. But like you say, I think your company's in a position that just like you look at the guy who scored 2 goals, Matthias Ginter, captain. He was playing for
Yeah.
Dortmund. He's a German internationalist defender. Sometimes there's just levels to the game, and I think Motherwell just got to a level where they're just not that level. I think Motherwell are a good side in Scottish Premiership, but in a European level, they're not even a comparison with them in Freiburg. And I thought Freiburg showed their class. And I think when it comes to Germany this week, I think they're a brilliant away trip for the Motherwell fans. Um, but I think it could be the end of an absolute spanking.
Yeah.
I think it could be 5 or 6. I think Motherwell will score a couple of goals maybe. I'm going to predict 6-2 to Freiburg. And
Oh,
I don't
that's a
want
good
that
one.
to happen, but I think Motherwell could be the end of an absolute spanking because, like you say, the pitch will be bigger, different
Mm.
environment, and the Freiburg will want to put on a show in front of their fans. So I think
Ah, of course.
it could be it could be a long night for Motherwell, but it could be a good away trip for the supporters to experience a new country. And lastly, we've got Hibernian nil, Ghent nil. Obviously, the first leg was away from home in Belgium. Fantastic result for Hibs. So it's set for a 4 a.m. kickoff my time, 2 a.m. your time on Friday. So Hibs versus Ghent, 0-0 away from home, and obviously I'll kick us off. Elding missed a penalty as well, so Hibs could have won the game 1-0 away from home. Um, so on another day they could have stole all 3 points. And like you say, it's one of the biggest clubs in Belgium.
Yeah.
So to get a result, I think that's monumental for a club like Hibs. And Hibs have come under a lot of stick this start of the season. I think David Gray's always done well, but I think a couple of results because they're always compared with Hearts, because what Hearts did last season. But David Gray's done a phenomenal job because people forget where Hibs were before David Gray took over.
Yeah.
They were flirting their relegation zone. So to get them where they were to bring them up to European football, so and the fact is they're on the brink of potential qualifying for the Conference League, which would be massive for Hibs in terms of financially and like for the supporters, it's fantastic, and the players that European exposure. And I think I'm backing Hibs to there. I think Hibs will win that one 2-1. I think they'll just have enough. I think Hibs at home, firepower they've got up front. I think they can do it. I'm backing the Hibees. What about you?
I agree. I think with that great result they got in the first leg, and it was away from home, so now they've got the home advantage, and they've got Mr. Martin Boyle, the runner, so fast. So I think he will get behind the defence, and he is a goal machine. By the way, once you get him behind the defence, he is actual lethal and clinical. So I think it will be about. I would say about 2-1 as well. I'd agree with your prediction. I do think they will score, but I do think Hibs just outscore them because I do enjoy watching Hibs as a team. They're a good team to watch. They're an entertaining team. They're a strong team. They're a physical team. They put themselves about the park, and they've got great players like Josh Milligan. He's a great player.
Hmm.
Yeah, fantastic player. He's a great Scottish League player. Uh, as I said, Martin Boyle. They've also got for me, I've always been a big fan of
Bushiri, aye.
Bushiri.
I like the
Like,
boy, is it Midfield Park as well, Chaiwa.
hmm.
He was like with Celtic last season as well. And they've got obviously the boy, was it Jamie McGrath who used to play for Aberdeen as well?
He's a good player, but his consistency isn't really there. He's a crack. He's a good player. He just needs to put his consistency a wee bit higher because he needs to perform in bigger games. He performs in little games, but he needs to start performing in the big games. Like when he plays against Celtic, he's missing. Plays against Rangers, he's missing. He needs to. He does score a goal a couple of times against Celtic and Rangers, but needs to be more consistent. And I hope that he can turn up on the day against Genk, so he can get us a good couple of points in the coefficient to push it up.
Yep, so that's our European predictions and review. So now we'll move on to the English Premier League, which obviously kicked off at the weekend there. So on Saturday, the 22nd of August, with Arsenal 3, Coventry nil, Hull City 2, Manchester United nil, Everton 2, Crystal Palace nil, Ipswich Town 2, Sunderland 1, Nottingham Forest nil, Leeds 1. Sunday, the 23rd of August, with Brentford 3, Tottenham Hotspur nil, with Brighton 4, Aston Villa nil, Manchester City 2, Bournemouth 1, Monday the 24th of August with Newcastle 2, Liverpool 2. And the game tomorrow for us is Tuesday 25th of August, the last game of the round. And it's Fulham versus Chelsea. Yet to be played.
I'll let you kick it off, Pearse. What kind of game stood it to you?
I'm going to choose the whole City to Manchester United because in South Korea, I'm part of a group of foreign guys, South Korea football team. Um, I don't really play them anymore, but I'm part of like a social group.
Aye.
Um, and we do a thing called Last Man Standing. So you choose a result in the English leagues, Championship to League Two, and it started off this weekend. And I chose Manchester United, and, I get papped out in the first round. So and then I seen the highlights, and then I seen the clip, and then I seen the clip of Harry Maguire holding Mazraoui. So I'm not a Manchester United fan. I don't support any English team, but I've also a soft spot for him because obviously Cristiano Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney, etc., Roy Keane. But what a horrendous start to the season. I thought Manchester United against newly promoted side, Hull City. I think Hull City squad isn't great. I was like, it should be quite easy, quite comfortable. And Manchester United did brilliantly under Michael Carrick last season. They got in the top four, got Champions League football,
Mm.
and they started season off that poorly. And they even got Marcus Rashford back for his loan, and nothing happened for him going forward. I thought they were just terrible over the park, and Hull City fully deserved it. But to say I was disappointed was an understatement.
Like Harry Maguire, who was it?
I don't know what he's doing, man. Like, I think
No,
Harry Maguire's a good defender, right? But there's some moments in his game that
it's like,
he just doesn't help himself. You're like, what are you thinking?
man, because I was going to choose the same game. I'm going to choose the same game, man, because he actually is created. He's now become a meme. He's now
Aye.
become a massive meme. His meme has become bigger than his football career because Slabhead, that's what they call him. He's not doing himself any justice, man. The people are like, oh, he should be playing for England, man. He's a fantastic player, and then he does that against Hull City. Is he colourblind or something? Can you not see Mazarawi's wearing the same colour of shirt?
Well, he did used to play for Hull City, remember?
That's what people were saying. He's like a double agent. But good result for Hull. Luckily, that Harry Maguire was had a wee bit PTSD. I mean, PTSD is like, I'll grab the closest person to me. Doesn't matter if it's my teammate. I do think that Man United next game need to try and work on their set pieces after that and say, Harry Maguire, grab somebody in an opposite shirt, mate. Because they played well apart from that, but like they didn't create any chances, and that one chance that Hull took, it was like an open drop to the ball because Mazarawi was getting pulled by Harry Maguire, and he just boom, goal. Anybody could have scored it. Just pick up a corner, goal. But yeah, very disappointing for Man United because of course I've got a soft spot for because of Wayne Rooney and Roy Keane. You know what I mean? But sad to see. I've got a lot of colleagues in Vietnam is very big in Man United base, so that everyone I talked to in my school today, like that. Terrible result, Teacher Thomas. And I was like, what happened? Because I knew what happened. I just went to the town and said, what was he doing? And I said, you talking about Harry Maguire? And he's like, yeah. I said, that's why he didn't get picked for England. You know what I mean? So Vietnam was quite sad, but yeah, Man United need to pick themselves back up and start playing the football they played at the end of last season and actually start playing better defensively. And set pieces, I need to say, after watching that, they need to work on their set pieces.
Aye. And like I say, always see the opening day results. They're always hard to predict.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think obviously we just need to take a few weeks to get up and running maybe. So European football, Scottish, English league. Now we'll move on to Asian football news. So I'll start with the K League and the J League, and then you can read us off, Tommy, with the
I
Vietnamese.
finish off with the best one.
All right, so the best to last. So in the J League one on Friday, 21st of August, Kashiri Assault 4, Vivaran Nagasaki 2, FC Tokyo 2, Jeff Chiba 0. Saturday, 22nd of August, Kashi Antlers 3, Avisva Fukuoka 2, Fagiano Okayama FC 0, Tokyo Verde 0, Cerezo Osaka 1, Shimizu S Pulse 0, Kyoto Sanga FC 1, Mito Hollyhock 3, Logo Grand Prix 3, Gambo Osaka 1, Sanfrecce Hiroshima 1, Kawasaki Frontale 1, Yokohama Mariners 1, Vissel Kobe 0. Sunday, the 23rd of August, Machida Zelvia 3, Red Diamonds 1. So, top of the table, we've got Machida Zelvia, Cashier Assault, and Cash Antlers all get maximum points from the first 3 games of the J League season. With Machida Zelvia on a +10 goal difference, Cashier Assault on a +5, and Cashier Antlers just beside the top two on a +3 goal difference. And at the bottom of the table, we've got Jeffrey Chiba on 0 points, -9 goal difference. Ura Diamonds also on 0 points with a -6 goal difference. And making up the final relegation playoff place is Kutasanga FC with 1 point with a -3 goal difference. So it's safe to say we've found the Whitman boys at the start of the season. So I think all three of those sides need to start picking up points sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And moving on to a bit closer home for me, the K-League 1. So Saturday, the 22nd of August, Butcher FC 1985 3, Polong Steelers 0, FC Anyang 0, FC Seoul 7, Jeju SK 0, Gimchung Sangwoo 0, Jumbo Motors FC 1, Ulsan HDFC 0. Sunday, the 23rd of August, with Deja Hana Citizen 3, Gangwon FC 0, and Gwangju FC 0, and Chun United 1. So top of the table, after an emphatic win at the weekend, 7-0 win for FC Seoul. That now puts a goal difference up to +27 with 50 points after 24 matches. They're 13 points clear at the top of the table. And safe to say for me, they're nail-on favourites to win the league for the first time in a long time. Yeah, they're playing really good football. And yeah, they look for me the favourites to win the title. And second, and joint second is Ulsan and Jumbuk, who played at the weekend with Jumbuk winning narrowly by a goal to nil. And former Barcelona Academy player Lee Sung-woo was in a heated argument with the Ulsan assistant manager, and it just shows you that he's still got that wee fiery temper in him. Must be a wee man syndrome thing.
Of course.
But aye, he's a good player, but he's a wee angry man. Aye, but anyway, both set with by just the 6 goals, but aye, Ulsan and Jumbo just behind, but they're trailing by 13 points. So I think it's an unsaleable lead at this point. And for me, it's not when, it's not if. It's the only league. I think it's when. But at the bottom of the table, it's just, you can say the same thing. I think it's when Guangzhou officially get confirmed as relegated, because after 24 games, still only get one victory. They get a -38 goal difference with 11 points. That's absolutely shocking.
Mm.
Gimchu Sam was 11th on 26 points, and then Dejan Hana Citizen on the 10th place, the third and final relegation playoff place, and that's 29 points. And joint ninth, eighth, however you want to call it. FC Anyang and Butchon FC, both on 30 points, but with Butchon's got a 0 goal difference with FC Anyang on a -7 goal difference. So it's incredibly tight in terms of the relegation playoff places, but the bottom of the table and the top of the table, it's nailed on that who's going to get relegated in one league. So yeah, but exciting. And to round off the Asian football news for me is Kota Takura, the Japanese defender. He left Gladbach last summer to join Ajax, and after one season, he's rejoined Borussia Gladbach. Yeah, so he's on a deal until 2030, and he'll link up with his fellow Japanese compatriots, Shuto Machino, Daiki Hashioka, and Zento Uno.
Mm.
That's me done, Tommy. On to you.
So last week there was a big final for the Asian Championship called its Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So nations such as Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Philippines, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, Brunei, and Timor-Leste. So that's all the teams that compete. And of course, it was formerly known as the Suzuki Cup. That's what was its former name, but now it's been renamed to the Asian Championship. So basically, the final, it's a weird structure. Each game is 2 legs. When it gets to later stages, like the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, and even the finals got 2 legs. So like the first team will get for example, like in the final that's Vietnam versus Thailand, they played the first leg already. Vietnam won 2-0, and it was played in Thailand. So the next game it's on Thursday is in Vietnam next to my house. So of course I'm going to be going, and it's going to be a sold out stadium. It's already sold out. All the tickets sold out within 1 hour. I've got tickets at the top of the stadium, so I'm not really going to see much, but I'm going to feel that atmosphere. That's the reason I'm going. But yeah, every year it's one championship every year, and it's always Vietnam and Thailand in the final. They just and see the thing is, Thailand. I've watched them. They're a hard team to beat. By they're not very good, but they are strong. By the way, like they're like you know you've played against some Vietnamese players and that like kind of similar to Thai players. They're not exactly gifted in football, but they'll run at you and hit you and like. But now that Vietnam have got a couple of internationals in our national team, they've got like a guy called Patrick that's from Slovakia. He's the goalkeeper, the first team goalkeeper. He gave up his nationality and then now became a Vietnam national citizen. They've got a guy called Son. I can't remember what his name was before, but his name's now Son. Um, he was Brazilian. He's a fantastic striker. He reminds me of Hulk. You know Hulk, the Brazilian ringer.
Of
He's the
course.
same build. He's the same build. Last year against Thailand, he snapped his leg in half. Um, he won the game, got won, and he got a gold medal. But he was in a stretcher, and he took like maybe like 4 to 6 months to recover. And he's now back, and he's playing in the first division in Vietnam. And every game he plays for the national team, he's a different animal. He plays well for his club. It's as if he's a different animal when he plays. And I do feel like they might not really go attacking in this game. I do think they know that 2-0 is going to be hard to come back for Thailand. But I do think it'll be an end-to-end game. I do think Thailand will score. Thailand are very well disciplined and they do wait for the right opportunity. I do think that Vietnam, the way they're playing with under the South Korean manager that they had, if he already had a previous tenure at Vietnam and then he left to go and manage a club in South Korea, and then he came back to manage the team again. So he's been proven that he's really good with making the players play well under him for the Vietnam. And as you can see, Vietnam are now, for the first time ever, in the top 99 nations in the world. And they might actually qualify to go to the World Cup for the next World Cup. There's a chance. So, yeah, I do think it's going to be, in my opinion, I think it's going to be 4-2 in aggregate. I think it's going to be a 2-2 game, and I hope it's an entertaining game, and I do think like Vietnam will again lift the trophy as they have previously lifted the trophy many times, and that's
Well,
all for the Vietnam news.
I'll look forward to hearing about the game, Tommy, and hopefully see some pictures and videos of you enjoying a Vietnamese win.
Of course,
And that is all your latest Asian football news for me and Tommy. So that's the end of today's podcast. Hopefully, you enjoyed the content today. And make sure to like, share, subscribe, and check out the podcast on the website and the YouTube channel and all other available streaming platforms. Until next time, I've been Pearse McLaughlin.
I'm Thomas McLaughlin.
Bye bye.
Catch you next week.